so the first thing you want to do, head over to Discord, go to Create Pack Downloads, and open up ALLIUM createpack.zip. Once that opens, you'll see up in the top right corner, there's a download button. You want to hit that. And that will start your download. It's going to say that it can't scan for viruses, but you're just going to download anyway. And then just wait for that to download. And once that is done, you're going to actually want to head back over to the Discord, where you'll find the second link for Prism Launcher. Alternatively, you can use CurseForge, but this instructional video is for Prism. So you're going to go ahead and go to that website, hit installer.exe. That will start the install for Prism. Just wait for that to download. And once you've done that, it's going to tell you something like that. Just go ahead and run anyway. And then you can go ahead and start your installer. And then just select the boxes that I select. Give it an install path, start the installation. And then after a couple minutes, you'll finish up, run Prism Launcher. You can check that box. Once you hit finish, it should open. Now is the part where you're going to be adding an instance. You can see up in the top left corner of this application. Now this new window is going to pop up. You're going to want to hit import on the left side navbar and then go all the way to the right of this screen. You'll see a button that says browse. Click on that. That'll pull up the the file explorer. Go to downloads, select your ALLIUM create pack that you downloaded earlier, hit OK. A window is going to pop up which will you'll want to hit OK first. And then a window will pop up telling you that it's downloaded. Now this part is a little complicated. There's going to be some of these mods that you don't have. So you want to hit open mods down at the bottom. It'll pull up a CurseForge website, which you can then use to download all of the missing mods that Prism was unable to download. So just download those. Don't worry about putting them anywhere. Just download them. And once that download's complete, it should say down at the bottom that it's watching a folder, which will be your downloads folder. It'll find those mods. You'll go ahead, hit OK, check this box, hit OK again. And then you're going to have to wait a couple minutes for this. But once it's done loading, you will have your ALLIUM create pack pop up in Prism Launcher. And past that, anytime you do want to go ahead and open up the game, you can open up Prism Launcher. And once Prism Launchers open up, hit ALLIUM create. And past that, it'll open up your client and you'll be able to join the server. And you can find that server link in links in Discord. All right, now on to the tutorial. All right, so welcome to my new tutorial world. This is going to show you the basics of how to play ALLIUM create mod. So this mod pack is actually just a lightly modded version of an already existing pack called All of Create. So yeah, I wanted to go ahead and talk about a couple features that this mod pack has that may be useful to you while you're playing. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about them. All right, so waystones. Waystones are very useful. They can be crafted, but most likely the ones that you find will be naturally generated. Crafting recipe is pretty simple. So these are actually really easy to use. You just go up to it, click on it, and I already actually have one set up. So I'm just going to click on that. And as you can see, it just teleported me to the other one. We'll end up having a lot of these. There's actually a couple other features that this mod adds, but I expect the waystone will be the most popular feature. All right, so here we got a couple of things that I'd like to talk about. First of which is how to use the quest line for experience and item rewards. So we actually have Feed the Beast quests installed for ease of understanding for a lot of these mods features, and that'll definitely help aid you in figuring out the create mod and a couple of the other mods that are in this mod pack. If you go into survival, you hit E, just go into your normal inventory. Let's go right here to quests. You'll see this quests icon right up here. This is actually your key to understanding how to play the mod pack. This is the first thing that's going to pop up is tutorial. This will just show you how to actually use the quest navigator. You'll see, welcome to all of Create. To start the tutorial, click on this quest and read the description. This is going to give you a brief rundown of how to use the quest system. And whenever you're done with a quest, you always just hit this. It'll turn green, and you'll see I actually get a reward, which I can then redeem. This will also give you a couple more quest items that will help you to understand things. Some of them have rewards, some of them don't. So like this one gave me some torches. You can read this on your own time. We're going to mainly focus on the like integral features to this mod pack. But yeah, once you've completed this, you can actually go ahead and move on to the other ones. So you go over to this bar right over here on the left, create. This is the one that's going to really introduce you to all these different create components. So let's go and just read this. I strongly recommend reading these so you actually understand what's going on. These little things right here, the goal is that you craft one of these. So like a shaft or an andesite casing or a seat or a schematic cannon. This will tell you what it is. It won't tell you how to use it, but we'll get there. Each of these things, they branch off, and then you can craft things from them. Anytime one of these items you craft and ends up in your inventory, you'll actually automatically unlock its skill tree, for lack of a better term, and you'll be able to advance to the next one. So I strongly recommend getting familiar with this quest line. And besides create, it also tells you how to use Tom's storage mod, trains, and then all of these airships, which I have a feeling will be very popular, contraptions, and then all these other ones. That is the quest system. So next up is the ponder feature. So all create components, which, you know, we'll talk about later, all of them actually have a way to tell what they do, and that is through a very useful feature called pondering. So if you actually like search up any create component, see for example I have this mechanical press, you'll notice it says hold W to ponder. If I hold W to ponder over any item that's in my inventory, it'll pull up a quick tutorial on how to actually use these. And there's actually a full index of these things. So if you go to your escape menu, you hit this goggle icon, and then you hit ponder index, it will actually pull up every single create component and all of its associated ponders, which is very nice. If you click into them, it'll give you a brief rundown of how to utilize each of these components. You can utilize this not only just for default create components, but most, if not all, of the additional modded create components that you may want to use. Next, I will be showing you how to use just enough items. So just enough items that allows you to see what is available for you to create. It'll also show you things such as crafting recipes and what it can be used to make. It can be used for crafting recipes that this item is in and crafting recipes that make this item. But yeah, just enough items is very easy to find. All you have to do is open your inventory. So this on the right side is just enough items. All these things in here, they will have crafting recipes. Let's take the most basic of things, an oak log. If you left click, it will do nothing. But if you right click, it'll pull up all these different recipes. The reason it didn't pull up anything with left click is because you can't craft an oak log. If you can craft an item, you'll be able to left click it and see how. Once you're in this menu, which we got here from right clicking, it'll show you all the things that an oak log can be used to craft. And it's not just crafting tables. It's also create components, smelting, manual item application, which you'll discover later, and a couple other various methods. But yeah, so it'll show you, for example, this can be used to upgrade sophisticated storage, which we'll get to later. Alternatively, it can be used for smokers, hedges, all these different things. And so if you're ever curious, oh, what can I make with this item that I have? Just right click on it and just enough items, which also you can search in this little box down here. But you'll see it gives it information like it can smelt 1.5 items. You can automatically pack this with create components into oak wood bark blocks. Same thing. You can use a crafter, a mechanical crafter from Create. You can crush it into sticks. You can blast it with a mechanical fan and a lava block to get charcoal. All these different things. So each block in here has that. And if you start going to more complicated things, you can left click and it'll show you. See, there's multiple ways to craft this. You can use the ALLIUM ingots or iron ingots to get iron leggings. It shows you what you can do in an anvil. You know, it's not all useful, but some of it is. You can also use a mechanical crafter to get it. Various things like that. I would recommend playing around with this. There's also shortcuts for each of these things in survival. I don't really remember them, but they exist. So if you're curious, you can always just look it up on the internet. But yeah, that is just enough items. Very versatile mod that allows you to, you know, also if you're in a crafting table, for example, and you have all the items, you can shift click and it will move the crafting recipe over to that. And yeah, definitely just makes life more easy, especially in these big mod packs. All right, next we'll be talking about the Lootr mod, which says each player can loot naturally generated loot chests. So you'll notice this loot chest looks different. That's because this was naturally generated. This is actually just like the default spawn chest when you load into any normal world. So when the chests have a gold outline, that actually means that you have not entered the chest yet. However, when you open it, you can take all your items out, it'll turn silver for you, and it'll never regenerate. But for all the other players that join the world, they can still access this. And this is true not just of spawn chests, but it's also true for any naturally generated structure that spawns with chests that has a defined loot table. Okay, next we're going to be talking about sophisticated storage. So we have two sophisticated mods. There's sophisticated storage and sophisticated backpacks. So both are incredibly useful, especially for bulk storage and the likes. So we'll start with how to craft sophisticated storage chests and turn them back into normal Minecraft chests. So you'll notice it says oak chest from Quark. That is slightly different than, for example, an oak chest from sophisticated storage. So we want to craft a sophisticated storage oak chest that is capable of having upgrades applied to it. So you'll notice this one from Quark. Don't craft that one. You want to go into redstone, get a redstone torch, and then suddenly it'll turn into an oak chest from sophisticated storage. So you can grab both, and these now have the potential to be upgraded with upgrade templates from the mod. And so the templates are very versatile, and there's a ton of different ones. Alternatively, if you do ever want to turn these back into Minecraft chests, just know there's no way. So once you do have a sophisticated storage chest, it is unable to be downgraded. Yeah, another thing, I actually don't know. I don't think... Oh, never mind. Okay, these can be double wide. I thought they couldn't. But yeah, you'll notice now that it is a sophisticated storage chest, you have one of these. And that is an upgrade slot. So you'll notice these are different upgrades that you can place onto your chest. So there's different tiers, and logically it starts at just a normal chest. And if I go over here, you can actually see. Oops, sophisticated. So it starts at, actually let me just look up spruce chest. So it starts as a normal chest, then it goes to copper, then iron, then gold, then diamond. And each one of those just slowly upgrades the amount of storage that it has. So I'm going to take this netherite tier upgrade, right click to apply, and suddenly you'll see this chest has become ginormous. You can either do that or you can craft it in a crafting table. And if you want to know the recipe, just use just enough items. So now that we're in here, we can start applying all of these various upgrades. See, now this one has a built-in stone cutter, which if you were to place stone in there, you can just use as a normal stone cutter. Now we have a crafting upgrade. Same thing, you got a crafting table inside. Then there's different stack limits. So you'll see this one raises stack size limit to 2 billion. Don't worry, it is very expensive. It is not going to break the game, but it costs like 9 netherite, so don't even worry. But you'll notice if I do for some reason care about that, which, you know, some people will, I can stack thousands of items here, which basically makes this unlimited storage. But yeah, you can also do other things, like this one isn't as useful, but if you were to place a tank of experience next to it, you could pump pump experience in and out. Alternatively, you could pump water in and out. There's settings in this, which I won't go into in depth. The beauty of this mod pack is it's quite easy to figure out. But yeah, sophisticated storage. Now I just wanted to talk a little bit about backpacks. Backpacks function the exact same as chests, except for the fact that they can both be placed, like so, and you can access everything. You can click them in the air, or if you're wearing them on your back, let me see if I can actually put this, I forget. I think you can't, yeah, you can only put it on your back slot. Oh, no, never mind. You can wear it like this, and if you press B, it'll open your backpack, like so. And so this makes it super convenient for carrying around additional storage. And similar to the sophisticated chests, you can actually apply upgrades to your backpack as well. So let's see. Now I have an Omega tier backpack that can stack billions of items. Or I can actually, I put way too many in there, but I can pump experience in and out. So if I were to give myself a ton of experience, add void 1,000. If I wanted to, now I could go into here and start pumping experience into this. Oh. So take all experience. I think I need a tank upgrade. Whatever. Oh yeah, tank upgrade. So let's see if I can do that real quick. There's different, There's different tiers of a lot of these. But yeah, see now I have a tank. And if I wanted to pump experience, I can, I think I messed that up. Oh no, yeah, it's in here. Yeah, so now it has 164 out of however many experience levels. Oh, okay, I see what I was doing wrong. Okay, so now I am storing experience. But yeah, very versatile mod. I'm sure people will have a lot of fun with that. But yeah, sophisticated storage and sophisticated backpacks. All right, now we're going to start talking about create stuff. So this is your best friend, and I just made it disappear. Let me get a new one. Wrench. This thing is the most versatile tool you will ever have in Create. So you notice what I just did. Here, let me get a create component, like a cog. So you'll see my wrench will rotate this in whichever direction I'm looking. Sometimes there's like no rhyme or reason to it, but you kind of just have to finick with it until it gets where you want it. And don't waste your durability with an axe or a pickaxe. Just shift and right click on all create components to break them. Like so. Boop. Wrench. It's your best friend. Definitely use it. Okay. Now, water wheels are something that are very, very useful. These can create a ton of stress units. So if I actually give myself a stressometer. Actually, yeah, you can actually already see it with my goggles that I have on. So 256 stress units. Stress units are the base unit of energy in this game, and the more sources of stress that you place in your world, the more stress units you will generate. So you see 256 stress units right now, but if I were to add another water wheel right here, And then I got some water. And it's going to look a little jank right now, but it's okay. Now, if I have those shafts on these, you can now see I'm creating 512 stress units. And that can continue to add on and on and on. But, yeah, that's the most basic way to generate stress units. Each one of these makes 256, and they add completely to 512. Alright, next I wanted to talk about windmill bearings. These are still early game, but they're definitely easier to understand than like a ton of water wheels. So you got your windmill bearing, right? I'm actually going to go up one. So you got your windmill bearing, and then you place on the sticky side one of these blocks, and then you can place windmill sails. And I want to actually make mine look nice, so I will. Place them like so. And then these can stack, I don't even know how many, like 128 or something ridiculous like that. But the more sails you add, the more stress units it generates. So once you've placed all of your sails on there, this block was sticky, and this one is sticky. These will all stick. Now, as you can see, it's generating 1,024 stress units. But if I were to add more sails, it doesn't have to be even or pretty. You could just make a giant square on one side if you really wanted to. Or you can make, alternatively, windmills that actually look good. Oops, let's see. Now this is going still at 1,024. I need to add more for it to actually register and update. But, yeah, the point is, these windmill bearings, they are very good for early game. All it takes is some wool and wood to craft. And then if you want, you can also make them go sideways. Oh, minimum of 8. Got it. If you wanted to make like an actual good-looking windmill, you could also do that. I'll just do one corner for now. But yeah, this will slowly rotate and generate stress units. So very good for early game power. There are definitely better ways to generate power, but you can get to that on your own time. But yeah, windmills and water wheels are your early game friend. The only problem is they just don't make a lot of power. So you'll want to invest in something later like a steam engine. Okay, gear ratios. Gear ratios are everything in Create. So you'll notice, if I get this speedometer right now, I have some water wheels attached to this cog right here. This is currently rotating at 8 RPM. This is currently rotating at 4. If you go from a small to a large cogwheel, which by the way can only be done diagonally, it'll slow it down by half. But if you take a large cogwheel like this, and then a small cogwheel, this was spinning at 8, now this is spinning at 16. There you go. And you can speed things up even more so with gear ratios like this. If you go from a large to a small, and then spin that on the same shaft, this one will now spin even faster. This block is a rotational speed controller, which you take or give input on one side and take input out a large cogwheel that you place on top. And suddenly, you'll notice, if you hold right click, you can now both determine the direction, clockwise versus counterclockwise, and you can also set the speed. So if I wanted this to spin at 36 RPM, I could, but I wanted to spin at 128. But yeah, very useful block. Rotational speed controller. They are expensive though. Alright, now let's talk a little bit about mechanical components. So this is a mechanical press. I've attached it to a source of rotation on the back, which, you know, I'm also using gearboxes. So gearboxes are awesome, and I'll show you why they're awesome. So, right here, say I wanted to transfer it at a 90. I have done that now with a vertical gearbox. There are also non-vertical gearboxes. Now, I've transferred it through a 90 again, and then I can do a shaft into this mechanical press. Mechanical press mechanically presses things. So you place whatever you're trying to press here, and it'll press it. Now I have iron sheets. Alternatively, if I don't have a power source, I can always just use what is called a hand crank. Very easy to craft, and if you place your items here, you can manually crank them, and it will manually press them. And this works for any and all machines that you can find on the Create Ponder menu. Okay, alright, now that we've talked about this, on to Tom's Storage mod. Tom's Storage mod makes things really easy. And so we'll see how this goes with our other storage mod. I fully expect people to be using both though, so we'll see. Alright, Tom's Storage mod has inventory connectors, inventory cables, inventory cable connectors, which look like this, and then storage terminals. So you have all of these different chests right here. So you've connected them with a connector. Say you have your grass blocks in this chest and you have your strip spruce wood in this chest. They are now connected. And if you hook up a cable to one of these terminals, you can now see everything in here. So this is just the basic storage terminal. Kind of expensive, but for balancing purposes, it makes sense. This is the crafting terminal. It just adds a crafting table, which is really nice to have. And just like a normal inventory, you can shift left click to get items out. You can still craft in this if that was an actual crafting recipe. And then this crafting terminal can actually be upgraded with a beacon, which you can read about that later. But that'll make it wireless, which is very nice. And so this wireless terminal default has to be linked, which you can do by shift right clicking, bound advanced wireless terminal. And now this does have a maximum range, but you can still use it a little far away. But once you get too far away, it will not work unless you upgrade it with a fully loaded out beacon, which will make it accessible anywhere in the world. Okay, and then one other thing that I wanted to talk about was the paint kit. So you'll notice these framed inventory cables, if you shift right click on any block, they can be painted. So you can hide your inventory cables and make them look nice. These inventory connectors, I don't know if they can be painted. Nope, they can't. But you can probably hide those somehow. Alright, cool. So now that we've talked about all the basics, I want to talk about some useful create stuff, such as mechanical bearings. So, let me build something real quick. You may be wondering, why even use create in the first place? Turns out it's very useful, very versatile. So, let me show you how. So, we got this right here, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a mechanical harvester right here. I'm going to place some barrels for storage, and then behind it, I'm going to place some deployers, like so, and I placed them upside down. Another fun fact about things in Create is you can place them normally, like so, or you can shift and place them, and it'll place them upside down. But yeah, we got our deployers here, and so I actually want these to be planting seeds. So we're going to put seeds in this one, and we're going to put seeds in this one, and we're going to give it a shitload of seeds. I mean a frick load of seeds. So now we have a fully functioning machine that will automatically harvest things, and all we have to do is glue it together. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this to this, and once it's all blue, which I'm still missing a block up here, let's just go throw that on there real quick. Once everything is glued together, like so, I can give this mechanical bearing some power, which I already have with this creative motor. This is not normally attainable, but yeah, everything's glued together. Take care not to glue things to the actual bearing, because it has a sticky side and I want things to rotate on it. So right click on this bearing, and suddenly you'll see, boom, things are starting to get planted. So you can get away with just a harvester on this. However, if you wanted it to both harvest and replow, you could place what's called a plow on it. Oh, never mind. I don't even know what it's called. There's another thing that'll like automatically till this for you. But you'll see if I do game rule random tick speed 1000, these will all grow. And once they're fully grown, they will get harvested. Like so. And then you can see I'm starting to get wheat and I'm starting to get straw as well, which, you know, has other uses. But yeah, if you wanted to stop this thing, you just click on your bearing. And then, yeah, there's a couple of different ways to actually get the items out of here. You can do it manually, or you could use a different thing. I forget what it's called, but you'll figure it out. That's the beauty of Create. It's easy to figure out. All right, that was one example of a contraption you can create. The next thing I'm going to talk about is an automatic miner, which are actually pretty easy to build. So let's get some rails. All right, so any contraption that you build with kinetic appliances, such as a mechanical drill, they do not require power to function. And so if I build something like this, and then let's see, if I want to place some of these rails right underneath it, same thing, by the way, you can use deployers on this to automatically place rails. You'll just have to like finick with it a little bit. You'll place your cart assembler, place a mine cart with a furnace, and then some birch wood on there. You know, this has its top sticky side, so I'm just going to go ahead and attach everything to it, taking care not to attach the rails. But once I get everything else attached, this is now ready to go. And, oops, yeah, that's something vital. You want to place a minecart with furnace, place your lever, power it. It is now a contraption. So you could either push it like so, or give it cold. And say you attach a deployer onto it as well. You know, you could also place your rails, and you could place a block underneath it for the rails to go on. And you can make this thing as big as you want. So huge possibilities with the Create mod. All right, now I want to talk about trains just a little bit. Trains are going to be pretty integral, or however you say that, to our server. So trains are also pretty simple to make. So you get your train station block. You'll want to go ahead and place it onto the track, and then place it somewhere that it's not going to get destroyed if for some reason you like have drills attached to your train. So we have this right here. Boom. Create new train. It's going to highlight part of the track that you want to build on. You want to get yourself a train casing, and then you can start building your train. So hold Alt if you want to select a different kind of wheel for your train. Turns out you can do like tons of different ones like this, which is ridiculous. But you could also just place it without holding Alt, and it'll select any different wheel. Boom. Now you can start building your train, which, similar to all the other contraptions, does need to be glued before you assemble it. But you can make some pretty good looking trains with this and all the other blocks that are in this mod. I won't do anything crazy for now. Instead, I'm just going to show you the basics. So to make a train function, you need two things, or rather three things. You need one train casing to create your wheels. You need train controls, and you need a seat. This is all it takes to make a train. Oh, and some glue. So yeah, let's glue this thing together. Like so, like that. That's a train. You can decorate it the rest of the way that you want, but if I were to assemble this right now, I can now drive this thing. So I can go back, I can go forward, and just like other contraptions, this does not require any fuel or anything like that. But yeah, these, you can place your stations, and eventually we'll get it set up so that you can have automatic train schedules, which is actually pretty easy. So let me show you. So let's see. You have really any animal, any mob actually at all, or what is it called? Lead. So say I needed a conductor. Let's go ahead and get this guy in a seat. This is going to be really difficult. Okay. All right. There he is in a seat. Now, let's go ahead and give me another train station over here. Like so. Place it over here. I'm going to name this one Destination. Like so. Now, if I want, I can do a train schedule, add action, travel to station. There's different like things that you can do with this. But let's do destination. Check. Boom. And let's give this guy his schedule. Now, I can actually ride this thing while it's going. And my conductor has now made it to his train station. Good job, conductor. Alright. And same as before, the wrench is very useful. Let's get this guy. Alright. I took his train schedule back. But say I need to move a train for some reason. You can just move it with your wrench. Oops. Yeah, let me re-click on this. I just moved him. It does have a range, so you can't just pick these up and keep them in your pocket. But yeah, that is a basic train. Let's talk about some other stuff with trains that might be useful to you. So, you see this right here? This is a paver. This thing can actually pave roads for you. And so, I have these, I forget what they're called, something, I have no idea. Let's actually take it right over here. And then, hold space to approach destination. I'm going to hop off here so I can show you what they're called. Okay, mechanical rollers. These things are awesome. So, I can set it with a specific block. I'm just going to do gravel because I have gravel in this chest. Boom. Now they're all set to place gravel below. You can do replace tracks, slope fill below, which is good for like void spaces, straight fill below, or clear blocks and pave, which is what we're going to do. So I can also turn this on and off with these normal contraption controls, which if you place any of the mechanisms that you have attached, will automatically be able to be turned on and off. So let's assemble this train. Alright, so I don't have them on right now, so... Oh, wait, I do have them on. Sorry. Okay, so now I have them off. And I turned off my mechanical saws as well. So I could actually pass straight through those things. This is useful for pulling into places, you know, not destroying. It's really annoying destroying things you didn't want to. Alright, so I'm just going to move this guy, and I'll show you that now we have automatically paved sections of this with gravel. If I hop back in here and I turn on my saws, turn on that, and take a look, it's now destroying all of the grass. It'll mine the trees as well. There's both of them. And it'll continue to pave this whole area with gravel. But yeah, this has been like a pretty basic guide to create. Turns out the mod is super in-depth. There's a ton of different things that you can do with this. Alternatively, like things that you may want to do but you don't know how to do it, can always be found on YouTube. So I highly recommend taking a look. But yeah, this has been your basic introduction to Create. So yeah, hop onto ALLIUM and have some fun.